Hey y'all, this is impromptu, but I'm just gonna go on and get down to it. Um, Pretty much everybody knows that it's hitting the fan right now, and humanity is under unprecedented attack. Okay, it's happening everywhere. Aside from the spiritual attacks, there's the physical attacks on our bodies, and a lot of people are invoking Christ. The Christ consciousness, the love of Christ. This is absolutely correct. Yes, this is as it should be. This is true. I posted, I said, do you guys think anyone's gonna come save us? And the predominant answer was, well, Jesus. Okay, super cool. Agree. Couldn't agree more. How? Why? I keep asking that. I have not had one single religious person answer that question. So now I'm over it. I'm not tossing things out and waiting on you to nibble and see if you pick it up. I'm just going to tell you how it works. Now, I'm going to create a visual for you that it may seem slightly different in your visual mind, but this is the best way that I can think of to explain how the Christed one, the Christed ones, the Christ consciousness is saving us and is going to save us. Okay. Again, I've asked the question, what about the blood is powerful? Why is the blood powerful? Why do we need saving? Was God surprised about our behavior when we were made in the image of the gods? Like they were all surprised. Like, can you believe how they're acting? They're acting precisely like we designed them to act. We better go save them. No, bro, that isn't what happened. That's not what happened, okay? I'm sorry I sound like an asshole, but I'm kind of tired of it, and we need to get on with this, all right? So, this is the deal. Jesus had to have a particular DNA. We know this. That's why he was seated in the body that he was and birthed the way that he was. He had to go through certain situations in order to prepare himself for the saving. He had to get his DNA in the exact appropriate refraction pattern in order to do this work, which is why he got himself baptized, because it all happened in quick succession, not from, we don't know much from 12 to 33, but right after he got baptized, everything happened in quick succession. He got himself baptized. He had the free radicals removed from his energy fields through the flowing water. Then, he went out into the desert. He did his 40 days. He did his fasting. His fasting is trauma, hella trauma to the body, hella trauma to the cells. Okay. While he was out there experiencing the trauma to his cells, upgrading his DNA, he was forcing DNA upgrades. That's what he was doing out there. Then, of course, he was tempted, meaning that he was forced to make his final choice. What is your final choice in the face of how difficult this is going to be? Is this still your final choice? Is this your free will decision to do this work? You still have a choice. You can always exit. You don't have to do it. He made the choice over and over in the face of temptation. He was going to do this work. Then he allowed him, then he did his teaching. When he did his teaching, he spoke and he said, you were told certain things about certain things, but I'm telling you something new. I'm telling you, he was extrapolating and he was giving more context and more detail on what those original things were supposed to mean, but they got mixed up through dogmatic church, man control, all that bull crap. Okay. So he came back. He was like, yo, that's not what that meant. This meant, you were told, not to commit adultery. But I say, if you did it in your heart, you already did it. He was trying to teach you about the condition of your heart, about your vibration. And your vibratory pattern is determined by the condition of your heart. Okay. It was never really about judgment for how people think, act, and feel. It was like, I'm trying to tell you something important. He wasn't saying, but you must believe in me. He was like, you must believe me. I'm about to do this work. I'm going to do my part to save you, but you have to do your part too. What was his part? What did he do? Why did we need saved? It's not because we don't know how to act, and because God was all surprised at our behavior and decided after the fact because that we needed somebody to come in here and save us from our bad asses. Okay? No. We have been in basically a soul trap, for lack. That's the easiest way. Please understand that I know there are 4,083 different permutations for how you can tell this story and how you can form this, and most of them would still be right. They would just be coming from different perspectives. I'm giving you one, what I think is a relatively simple explanation and perspective. So we needed saved because we have been in a soul trap. We'll talk about how the trap happened at some other future time. That would be too much for right now because it's really not as important as what I'm trying to tell you. So we got trapped. Everybody romanticizes reincarnation. No, there's nothing romantic about it. We do our life. We go into the trap like flies in a zapper. We get zapped. We get put back in here over and over and over and over. And this is manipulated when we get to the other side. Religion is used to manipulate us to agree to come back here. But that's another story. So basically, we have been being recycled, and not allowed to remember our progress from the last runs. Some of us still remember because at some point the amnesia program just doesn't work anymore. And so some of us remember a lot, more than others. And my kids remember a hell of a lot more than I do. So the work that Jesus did, the saving that he did, was we needed an exit point in the trapping system. We needed some way out, some sort of an exit, at least access to it. So he had to take a human body. He lived his life. As he did all the things I mentioned earlier, he got his DNA prepared with the perfect refractionary rate. Then he allowed them. They did him a favor. That trauma, the torture, the pain, the suffering, that trauma was preparing him for the work that he had to do. He allowed them to do that because he needed that done. Okay, it's not like they got one up on him. That's not what happened. So he dies. He gets over to the trap. Okay, it is my understanding. This is how I have downloaded it and the way that I see it. Again, I know there's so many other ways you can say it, but basically the trap. Pretend the trap looks like the grid, like a grid pattern around the planet. There's an emoji on our keyboards. It's a grid pattern. It's got like square panes all through it. Okay, so it's my understanding that this grid, this trap has to remain solid. Like you can't just dismantle part of it. It's got to remain wholly not solid, intact. Okay, so pretend every little square is a pane of glass. Just picture this in your mind, every square being a pane of glass. What Jesus did when he died is he accessed the trap, and he basically pretend that he removed a pane of glass and he inserted a holographic layer of himself into it, so that there would be a possibility of exiting this trap. But this is why he taught what he taught, because you can't pass through a fractal layer of a Christed one if you have a low vibration or a very dense or low sine wave pattern peaks or a dense energy field. It's too light. So pretend it's basically like a filter, okay? So your particles, if you have a heavy heart, if you are mean and hateful and angry and disgusted, and you have addictions and all of these things that weigh down your vibratory pattern, all the things he taught about, though he didn't teach about those things because you were being judged the way you think. The original word just means regulator. Judgment is just a regulator. It's just a system regulator. Judgment is just like, oh, something is off in my system. I am too dense. let me raise my vibratory pattern. That's all that was. It wasn't about judgment and heaven and hell and all that shit directly. Those were very oversimplified descriptions, and it's like they said that, you know, when you're young, they talk to you like when you're a child, they speak to you like you're a child. We were fed milk for a while, but now we're ready for the meat, and this is the meat of what happened. So the reason you have to keep your vibe high, and the reason that he taught that, is because you have to be able to fit through the fractal portion that he placed in place of the trap, and you can't fit through if you're too dense to, basically, I've explained it. You get it, okay? So I've asked many people, many Christians, anybody, how did this saving occur? How did it actually happen? And why did we need to be saved to begin with? I'm telling you this because it's more important now to keep your vibration high than it ever has before, and that it's ever been before. And I think that it's important to know that there is an exit, and this is something you need to look for. Even when you die, your game is not over. You still get to choose what happens after that. It's just that most people already have it predetermined in their mind, because religion has prepared them to make certain choices when they cross over. And these choices that religion prepares us for highly benefit the nefarious ones, whoever they are. I probably know, I might not know, you probably know, you might not know. I don't care. I don't give a single solitary fork who exactly it is. I just want out. I'm done. I want out. This is how we get out. Know that there is an exit that is a holographic layer of the etheric portion of the DNA of the Christed ones. Now, I know that there are people who think that Jesus never existed. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. How, Lisa, how can you say it doesn't matter? It doesn't freaking matter if he physically did or not. He might be a personification of the work of every single Christed ones who carry the Christ code. He might be, he might not be. It doesn't matter, because he exists now, and the work that he did is real, and it exists because of the thoughts of humans. Okay, I guess you could say really it could be an egregore at this point. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Don't get bogged down in that crap. I know that I overlook and I skirt past certain things that people think are important. I understand. That's for you. If it's important for you, you do you. That's cool. I'm not getting bogged down in it anymore. I've already been bogged down in it, and it wasted a lot of my time. Okay? So, bottom line is, there's an exit. Keep your vibe high. Look for that shit when you get over to the other side. Look for it. And the more that we are aware of it, it's just like the double slit experiment, like everything else. If you look at it, then you bring attention and awareness to it, and then other people can bring attention and awareness to it, and then we will upload this into the fields, and then other people will download this, and we could potentially be the 100th monkey to let humanity know this has nothing to do with religion. Stop with the religion. Stop with the dogma. It has nothing to do with that. And people from all over the world, even if they never heard the name of Jesus, they can fit through as long as their heart is as it should be, and their vibration is high enough, and their fields are not too dense. This has nothing to do with religion, and it has nothing to do with judgment the way that you have been taught. This is simple, basic physics. It's the way out. I love you so much. Let me know what you think. If you guys have seen it or thought about it in other ways, or if you've downloaded other things, or if you've had other revelation, I would love to hear them. This is just a basic rundown of what I understand up to this point. Love you. Bye.